When you hear the term nomadic empire, what do you think of? The Mongols? Or perhaps the Huns? These are very sensible answers, but a very overlooked yet important polity was the Khazar Khaganate. Asian nomadic history is very complicated, but it follows a similar pattern. Basically, one great empire would rise up, and then splinter into separate tribes, who would then displace other tribes, who would in turn form their own great empires. And that just kinda repeated for, 2,000 years. In particular, the Khazars emerged from the ashes of the once mighty Xiongnu Confederacy, one of the greatest ancient nomadic empires. From there, the Khazars migrated westward, and seem to have been absorbed into the first Turkic Khaganate, specifically the Ashina clan, who were the ruling class of the first Turkic Khaganate. In 583, the Khaganate split into eastern and western parts, with the western part quickly succumbing to various outward attacks, first from other Turks, then from the Persians, and then finally from the Tang Chinese, who dissolved the western Turkic Khaganate in 657. The Khazars were one of the various tribes and confederations that migrated after this collapse. Under the remnants of the Ashina clan, they migrated west, where they defeated the Bulgars and established hegemony over the area surrounding the Volga River. The Khazar Khaganate was perfectly situated for it to become an economic powerhouse, as this was the area where merchants crossed on the trade routes between Europe and Asia. In fact, historians have referred to this period as Pax Khazarica, because it protected these vital trade routes. Furthermore, the Volga River was a rich fishing ground which served to increase Khazar wealth. Because of this, the Khazars exercised a great deal of influence with their two large neighbors to the south, the Byzantine Empire and the Sassanid dynasty of Persia. Generally, the Byzantines had attempted to turn nomadic tribes against each other, but they appeared to have had fairly cordial relations with the Khazars. The most distinct feature of the Khazars were their religion. How they became Jewish is a bit unclear, but the general consensus is that Jews being persecuted by the Romans migrated to areas near the Caucasus Mountains and the Volga River, where they formed tight-knit Jewish communities. These were still there where the Khazars arrived, and by the 9th century they had converted to Judaism. An interesting text supporting this is the Khazar Correspondence, a series of letters between Hasdai ibn Shaprut, a Jew living in Muslim Spain, and Joseph ben Aaron, king of the Khazars during the 950s. Here's the second half of Hasdai's first letter. At length, mercantile emissaries of Khorasan told me that there is a kingdom of Judah which is called Al-Khazar, but I did not believe these words, for I thought they had told me such things to procure my goodwill and favor. I was therefore wondering, till the ambassadors of Constantinople came, with presents and a letter from their king to our king, and I interrogated them concerning this matter. They answered me, "It is quite true, and the name of that kingdom is Al-Khazar. It is a 15 days' journey by sea from Constantinople, but by land many nations intervene between us. The name of the king now reigning is Joseph. Ships sometimes come from their country to ours, bringing fish, skins, and wares of every kind. The men are our confederates and are honored by us. There is communication between us by embassies and mutual gifts. They are very powerful. They maintain numerous armies with which they occasionally engage in expeditions. When I heard this report, I was encouraged, my hands were strengthened, and my hope was confirmed. Thereupon I bowed down and adored the God of heaven." The Khazar Khaganate was a diarchy, meaning it had two kings, which was typical of Turkic societies. A lesser king, called an Isa, would command the military, while a greater king, called a Khagan, would take care of religious affairs. The Khazars appear to have been polyethnic, not unusual for steppe tribes who mixed with other steppe tribes. Kazakhs and Magyars appear to have been the most common foreign ethnic groups among the Khazars. The Khazars also were a polyglot state, with the ruling class speaking Shah's Turkic, and the commoners speaking Lir Turkic. During the 7th and 8th centuries, the Khazars were attacked several times by the Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates. During these Arab-Khazar wars, the Arabs attempted to extend their influence into northern Eurasia via the Caucasian gates. However, they were not able to overcome the Khazars, who set an important boundary that checked Muslim expansion. During the 10th century, the Khazars found themselves being attacked on two fronts. On one front were the Pechenegs, another semi-nomadic Turkic entity with strong ties to Byzantium. On the other front stood the emerging Kievan Rus, who would go on to form Russia. The attacks were gradual at first, but the Khazars found themselves unable to hold on to the exterior of their territory. The final blow came in 965, when a combined force of Rus and Pechenegs, under the command of Sviatoslav I, Grand Prince of Kiev, sacked the Khazar capital of Sarkal. The Khazar Khaganate was replaced by the Volga Bulgars, who helped to fill in the void that the collapse of the Khazars had left. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more of this kind of thing, please consider subscribing, and as always, credit to these people for some of the pictures shown here.